What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Front Yard Fantasy Mock Draft Analysis video. I'm Simon, and today I'm going to be running through a couple of teams and draft strategies from our most recent mock draft that we did on July 18th, 2022. The mock draft that we did on that date was a tight end premium redraft mock draft. For those of you that don't know what tight end premium is, haven't played in a tight end premium league, it starts with standard PPR, point per reception. So all running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, they're going to get an extra point every time they catch that ball. Now, in this version of tight end premium, tight end position players are going to get an extra half point per reception on top of that 1 point. So it makes every target towards a tight end more valuable than a target towards a wide receiver or running back in terms of just raw points that they get for catching the ball. So it increases the value of tight ends a little bit. So you're going to see at least some of these early names going a little bit earlier in tight end premium formats. The rest of the scoring settings for this league, it is PPR for other players. Like I mentioned, we're going to be starting 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and then 2 flex pieces. So there'll be 2 flex, no defense, no kicker, and a single quarterback in this format. So I want to jump straight into it. The first thing I wanted to address in this is a tight end premium draft. I wanted to look at 2 teams that took very different tight end strategies. And the first one I wanted to look at was our guest on the stream himself, someone who came on and drafted with us, and someone I consider a tight end guru, Andrew Cooper, aka Coop A Fiasco on Twitter. Coop studies tight ends. It's what he does. It's his bread and butter. It's how he wins at fantasy, is with his tight end knowledge. And you can see in this draft, he waited until the 8th round in a tight end premium league to take his first tight end in Cole Kmet, and took a second one in Evan Ingram there at the back end of the 10th round. I love this strategy because you can see Coop missed out on those top 3 guys, the Travis Kelce, the Mark Andrews, the Kyle Pitts. You can throw George Kittle, Darren Waller in there. Let's say top 5. You missed out on those top 5 guys. Wasn't willing to take them as early as they went. Kelce, Andrews, and Pitts all went in the first round. He obviously wasn't going to take them at number 2 overall right there. So instead of maybe reaching for one of these middle round guys, what he did is he waited. And Coop brought something up on stream that I loved. He looks for indicators. Whenever a certain guy gets drafted, that's whenever he knows he's going to have to take the player that he's looking at next. So we saw Dallas Goedert get drafted, and that triggered to him, okay, if I want Cole Kmet, I likely need to take him in the next round. What I do love about these 2 tight ends that Coop drafted, and it's something I've been looking for in tight ends since he brought it up, is when you're drafting these late round guys, what you want to look for a potential breakout or someone who can way outperform their ADP is someone who really has a very real chance to be that second target on their team, second or first, but both these guys have a very real chance to be the second target. Cole Kmet, it's probably a little bit more clear in that Bears offense, only behind Darnell Mooney, but Evan Ingram on a brand new team down there in Jacksonville. We've seen this guy be a Pro Bowl tight end. We've seen him have success. His rookie year was unbelievable, and now he's going to be on a new team with a head coach that likes to use his tight end in Doug Peterson. And there's no pecking order on that depth chart yet for who's going to be the top target on that team, which wide receivers are going to out-target Ingram. Ingram could very likely be the second target on that team. So I love those 2 tight end picks, but what I really love about those tight end picks for Coop is what it allowed him to do with the rest of this team. He's stacked. He has a top quarterback in Lamar Jackson, a potential top 3 kind of guy. His running backs, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, and then some upside in Travis Etienne. I love his running backs. It's one of the stronger running back cores in this league. And then at wide receiver, T. Higgins, Jerry Jeudy to start it off. Not as strong as his running backs, but still a very strong core. It falls off a little bit after that. But because he went late on tight end, didn't reach, Coop was able to fill out those positions in a very strong way. And he's got the upside that maybe one of these guys breaks into that top 5, top 6 kind of tight end and makes this team complete. And the type of players that he selected at the end down here made it even more possible, taking these players that look like they have a chance to be that second target on their team. Now, this is in stark contrast to another team that drafted here. Julia Jones there from the 8th spot, started with Travis Kelce, got Joe Mixon on the way back, and then went Darren Waller in the 3rd round. Very bully tight end, grabbing 2 of these top 5 guys right at the beginning of the draft. Now, it is clear that Julia Jones has an advantage at the tight end position each and every week with Travis Kelce right there. I fully expect Travis Kelce to be the tight end 1 again this season. And then on top of that, these players get an extra half point per reception. So Darren Waller is a very, very viable flex. Now, we have concerns about Waller this year, but if this offense clicks like we think it's supposed to, there should be plenty for Davante Adams, Darren Waller, and Hunter Renfrow to eat in this offense. So I'm hoping for a bit of a bounce back year from him. But you can't take away from Julia Jones' team here that they have that advantage at tight end each and every week. Now, in contrast, the Coop's team, they do not have that advantage. They do not have the high tier players maybe at some of the other positions. And what really accentuates that is that they went Patrick Mahomes in the fourth. Not only did they grab 2 tight ends early, but they also grabbed a quarterback early, meaning only one of their first 4 picks was one of those positional players that they have to start multiples of: running back, wide receiver. So the number 1 running back on this team, Joe Mixon, great. My top 4 receiver for me or top 4 running back for me on the year. I love that, but it gets ugly quick after that. You've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was wildly disappointing last year. Still a running back in that Chiefs offense, but looks replaceable. Ronald Jones, I guess, to hedge a little bit with that. And then a bona fide backup whose value likely comes from an injury to Austin Eckler in front of him, and Isaiah Spiller. It's not so pretty after that. At wide receiver, you've got Marquise Brown, where the sky is the limit, especially with DeAndre Hopkins missing time in that Arizona Cardinals offense. But there's a lot of risk with a player like that on a new team, and DeAndre Hopkins will come back. And then the rest of the wide receiver core is fairly risky as well. Michael Thomas, we haven't seen at his old self in quite a few years. Hunter Renfrow, 8 last year in an offense without Darren Waller, without Davante Adams, and with some serious dysfunction. I expect him to be good this year, but to return the same kind of value he did last year, highly unlikely. This isn't a wide receiver core, running back core that inspires confidence. That doesn't mean there's not upside here, and that doesn't mean this isn't a good team. But that is the trade-off that you have to make if you want to go tight end early. And it's an even bigger trade-off if you want to go tight end and quarterback early, like Julia Jones did here. Guys, the main reason I wanted to talk about these 2 teams was to highlight the ways that you can build a successful team with different strategies, even in a tight end premium league where tight ends are valuable. Don't feel like you have to necessarily reach for one. You can go early. If those top guys are there for you in the first couple rounds, that may make sense for your team build. But if you miss on them, don't feel stressed. Don't feel anxious. Like you have to go grab one of those middling guys. You don't have to grab a Dalton Schultz. You don't have to grab a Dallas Goedert in those middle rounds. You can keep loading up on wide receiver, running back, maybe grab a top tier quarterback, and then take 2, 3 very high upside guys at the end of your draft. Guys, we're talking Cole Kmet, Evan Ingram, David Njoku, Austin Hooper. Check those guys out. And guys, before we jump out of here, I did want to give one more shout out to our friend Andrew Cooper. Make sure you go check him out on Twitter at Coop A Fiasco. 99% of what I know about tight ends in fantasy comes from this man's knowledge base. So you definitely want to go check out the content that he's putting out there. But that's going to be it for us on this mock draft review, guys. If you enjoyed what you saw here, if you want to get in on one of these mocks next time, make sure you subscribe to our channel at Front Yard Fantasy. We do these every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, and we post that link right in our Discord. So you can join our Discord right below in the description of this video, and make sure you're the first to know whenever these links go live to join our drafts. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll be back next week with another mock draft analysis. Until then, I'm out of here. See you, everybody.